Up first, House Beautiful magazine predicts the light and bright, rustic and reclaimed interior style that we call Farmhouse is pegged to be popular again this year in 2017. Look closely at the style markers and you will see antique grain sacks are often found center stage, in the bedroom, in the living room, in the kitchen. It's thick, natural, and nubby weave. It's a step up from burlap, we say, and it often carries a signature stripe and or a graphic label print of some sort. Melanie Miner is here to introduce us to the many ways to appreciate the French grain sack. It's great to see you.
You too.
Here's what I love when we pull in these design elements. You're always good to give us a little bit of history and background here.
Yes,
So talk to us about the French grain sack.
So the French grain sack obviously comes from France, and they used them to hold their grain in. And because of the fabric was so durable that they would actually use it for pillows and different things, even in the times when they used these.
It would stand the test of time, so to speak. It is thick, and it does have that texture that you designers are always promoting.
Yes, it's awesome, awesome fabric. And there's two different kinds of fabrics to look for when you're looking for them. This one actually is a flour sack. So there's a difference between a flour sack and a grain sack.
Softer, lighter.
Yeah, it's a softer fabric. It's more of like a muslin. And you'll usually see like a stamp on them, which can be good and bad, because the stamps sometimes can fade, or they can, in the wash, get
bleed a little bit.
Bleeded out.
I don't mind the faded look, to tell you the truth. I think it almost adds that rustic style.
I think the fade is really pretty.
It is pretty. The bleed might be a little bit obnoxious, but that's where you'll get the graphic prints that are on those sacks.
Yes. Every once in a while, you'll get them on the grain sack. If you ever see that, buy it for how much? For whatever the amount is.
You throw the bank at it. So let me reiterate. If you see the thicker grain sack with a stamp or a logo, that's something to
Yes,
nab.
that's something to grab. Yes, definitely. And so also the difference too is with the grain sack, you have the color is weaved in, so you don't get that bleeding. You don't get that as much as the fading.
The color stays in place and stays in print. Well, I mean, to buy these from an antique store or a vintage store, what will it run you in cost?
Depending on if there's a stamp on it.
The history or the authenticity.
history and how old they are, and if it's not a reproduction. Like this fabric right here is a reproduction.
Right.
And so they usually run, like in our store, we sell them $50 to $60.
Okay.
So some can run up into $150, $200.
What can we do with these once we've invested, reproduced or not, in the classic style of the French grain sack?
There's so many great things. Not only, like you said, like Farmhouse, but you can bring a modern element into it as well.
Now, hold on. This is such a signature Farmhouse piece. You're saying it can translate to a modern home?
Oh, definitely. We've seen where people have even put the print onto like wallpaper.
Wow.
In their home. Yeah.
So what's the key to making it work in a modern space then? Smaller doses?
I think just smaller doses and using it in kind of more unusual way than just a pillow. Like they've used it in a bed skirt, or have used it like wallpaper, or different things like that.
Oh, the pictures are just pretty. And it does, again, add that rustic touch just enough to kind of throw off, if you will, the kilter of the modern aesthetic in a really cool way.
Yeah.
This, I mean, taking it back to more of the Farmhouse classic chic style, the Williams-Sonoma hand towels, the dish towels, that has that classic kind of French grain style.
Grain look.
And I love those. So outside of the modern style, take us back to more of the classic application. Where can we play these or use these?
You can use them as pillows, obviously. They're very easy. This is actually just a pillow that we just slid into it. We didn't do any sewing, nothing. We just slid it right in.
Is this a standard size you can expect?
Yeah, this is a standard size. So you could actually put a king size pillow in here and it could go across your whole bed.
It's like it was made for this.
Yeah, it was made for them. And then you can also unstitch them and use them as a runner.
Now
so like this
I
one.
love.
This one is actually, this is how it came.
You're kidding me. Can I hold this up?
Yeah.
So there was an emblem or a monogram on it?
Yeah, I monogrammed it.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that so pretty?
That's very, very cool.
So when you find ones like that, you're like, I get all excited.
That's your definition of giddy, right? When you find a monogrammed French grain sack.
Stamped,
So when you unstitch them, what is it, table runner? Or
use them as a table runner. A lot of people really, really love to use them in upholstery. So upholstering chairs, upholstering ottomans, different things like that, because it's a fresh look, but it also gives just a little bit of that color and that kind of that warmness to your house when you have just that little bit of pop of color against this beautiful fabric.
Let's get to the reproduction side of things. If you aren't fortunate enough to be able to score something like this, or maybe it's not in your price point, what can you look for that the manufacturers are offering that will tap into that authentic look and style?
You want to look for that same kind of pattern, like grain pattern in the fabric.
Okay.
And sometimes, like most of the time, the fabric is a little bit more expensive than the grain sack.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know because of the make of them but the plus to having that is that you can have the same fabric throughout.
A consistent pattern.
Yeah.
And the color scheme, I mean, you see a lot of French blues and rustic reds. Does it break much beyond that color border?
Well, actually, this one has like a pink in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then like the gold.
Okay.
That's kind of most of the colors that I've seen. I've seen some black as well, but it's usually in those tones.
I love the look, and I love that you, as you pointed out today, it can translate to multiple home styles and decorating themes.
Yes.
So you mentioned you carry these at the store at 2 Market. Where are you located?
We're on Main Street, 5 North Main Street in Kaysville.
Works for us.
I don't know where we are. I know that's where we live.
Main Street, Kaysville is where you'll send you. And an exciting announcement from the Shop 2 Market. You guys are now offering design services.
Yes, we always have. We just want to let people know that we do.
Spread the word.
Yep, that we do
well,
offer
you're
that
great
now.
at what you do, and thanks for pointing us in the direction of this hot trend, as predicted will continue to be a hot trend in 2017. Happy New Year, Melanie.